Hi, I'm Linda from Purple Rose Digital, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this miniature gift box in the French country theme. I'm going to start with the lid, and I've already cut it out, and I'm just going to flip it around and use my paper as a guide to score the fold lines, and it just makes it a bit easier. So you'll see the panels on the width of the top is quite thin, so just make sure you fold that properly so you still have enough space left to put in your plastic window. And once you've done folding that, you can just, if you did it the same as me, then you can just finish cutting out the corners and then folding all of that fold lines. And as you can see, I'm also putting some distress ink around the edges. That is totally optional. If you don't want to do that, you can leave that out. So now we can measure the plastic for the window. I didn't put the size on the document because it might differ depending on how you folded it and your printing settings, your printer settings. So just measure and cut according to size, and then you can use glue tape or your preferred glue to glue it into the lid of your box. Once you're done putting on your glue or tape, you can glue that into the lid. And I'm sorry for going off screen so much. So basically, you want to glue it from the bottom into your lid. So just make sure you don't go over your folds again, and just glue that on nice and flat. Make sure that it fits nicely into the folds. Then we can go ahead and glue the corner glue flaps in. Sorry for going off screen so much. When you're working with a small item and you trying to see what you're doing, you sometimes forget that you're taking it out of the camera view. Okay, so you could glue the corners in and basically form the lid of the box. And I'm going to use some of these paper clips just to hold it in place for the glue to dry. So you can see I'm just gluing the glue flaps in, folding them in, and just making a rectangular shape for the lid in that sense. And I'm just using these paper clips to hold my glue flaps in place. So there you can see I've made the lid. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to start with the box itself. So I've cut that out, and again I'm going to flip it around to just get my score lines, and I'm just going to score all the fold lines and make sure that I get them in the right place. So you can go ahead and fold all the folds nice and flat. I just forgot to cut out that one cut out there. I'm just going to ink the edges quickly. Again, that's completely optional. And then I'm going to start gluing the bottom glue flaps onto the sides. So that's the first and the second one. And just make sure you get it aligned nice and straight so that your box looks neat. And that's the third one and the fourth one. And then I'm going to do that side glue flap as well. And there we have it, a box shape. And the lid fits well. And it's looking great. Now we can decorate. I've given you a bunch of fussy cuts and words to decorate with. I'm going to go with this rose with the bow and the word journal. You can do as many or as few as you like, or you can add your own textures, ribbons, whatever you like to do, of course. So I'm just going to cut this out, and for this one I don't want too much white to show, so I'm going to do as close to the image as possible. And then once I'm done with that, I'm just going to quickly ink the edges so that it looks nice and distressed and there's no white part showing. And then I'm going to distress the journal word a little bit. I've torn off the edge and I'm going to glue them together. And then I'm going to use a piece of thick double-sided tape, that sponge type of tape, to glue the rose onto the corner of the lid so that it will stand out and have a bit of depth to it as well. So you can do that, or you can just glue them on flat. It's completely up to you. And there we go. So you can see the piece of tape there at the bottom. If that bothers you, you can always put something over it, or you can just leave it like that. And that's your box finished. And make sure to visit my Etsy store for more beautiful items to make.